All right. I'm Jelaine Barros, Profa Barros, and I'm here with Botond in Hungary. Now we're going to do a brief unit sequence for how I would introduce vocabulary, use the vocabulary, doing a one-word image and creating a story. And then sometimes I follow that up, reinforcing it with story listening. For me, story listening comes at the end, after students have acquired a lot of language, so that I can kind of extend beyond what they know, but also differentiate. Sometimes introducing vocabulary with the story is fun, especially if I want them to understand the culture. But for me, if it's going to be a language thing, it's kind of a moment to sit back and look and see, wow, I can really understand this whole story. Even though there's a couple words I don't understand, I can really grasp it with what I've already learned. So we're going to do that. And in between each of those 4 activities, we're going to do write and discuss. This was an idea I just got from Mike Pito at Comprehensible Cascadia to end every day with a write and discuss, because we really can write about everything that we talk about. And then we have class created text. So this would be added to my library for students to read afterwards. If there's pictures, like a one-word image or a story, or if students drew something up for a story listening, we could do that. That's another reason we're doing kind of an abbreviated form, and Botond already knows quite a bit of this Spanish pretty well, because I would not do a write and discuss after story listening unless I knew my students had enough vocabulary already acquired to write about it. Story listening is a method. If you do lots and lots and lots and lots of stories, ultimately after many stories, they can write about things. But in this particular sequence, since the vocabulary would be new, we'd have to really give students a lot of exposure to that vocabulary first before we could expect them to listen to a story and then rewrite the story. So that's kind of the logic behind what we're doing right now. Make sure I have a marker. Okay, so after that, Botond, do you have any questions for where we're at right now before we get started?
No, we can get started.
Okay, so the first thing is TPR and PQA, that's total physical response and personalized question answering. TPR for me is just a quick way of front loading our key vocabulary. I also add actions to it for students to kind of have some cues. I'll write words on the board, I'll point to them here, but then I try to wean them off of the board by looking at me and looking at my actions, and that gets them thinking a little bit more about the sounds rather than reading it on the board like subtitles. So this kind of subtitles in different stages. So the first one I have is I. I means there is or there are. And my action for this one is we make a sign language I. This is the letter I. And I point to things. So I might point, you can't see it right now, but in my office, I could point and say, hay una guitarra, which would mean?
There is a guitar.
Good job. Hay una computadora.
There's a computer.
Good job. Hay papeles.
There are sheets.
Yep, papers or sheets. Yes, perfect. Yeah. So thought for thought, we're on the same page. I, that's my action. I. Hay una profesora. Hay un estudiante. We can use I to say a lot of things. S is pretty easy. I don't have an action for this one because it's a cognate. S means is. Le gusta means is pleasing or likes. This fits the grammar a little bit more, but we would usually say likes if we're translating it thought for thought instead of word for word. So le gusta. These are my actions here because it's good. I like it. Le gusta. And I can't see both of them, but at this point I would say, show me I. I'd be looking for the class to do I. Show me le gusta. And typically the students are going to say what it is. So since I can't see Botond right now, go ahead and say the translation. Show me I.
There is.
Show me le gusta.
You
What's that?
can't see me.
No, I can't see you right now. Sorry.
Can you see me now?
Oh,
Wait
it's
a minute.
your technology. It's the way I have it set up so I can see me.
Okay.
So if you just say it, I'll know you're with me. Say, show me le gusta. Le gusta means?
Likes.
Good job. All right, in Spanish, we have kind of a weird thing. There's two ises. The difference is this one's more permanent things and this one has a T, so it's for more temporary things, but don't stress about that right now. You'll just get used to when each one is the right one. So está for temporary things, we're going to use it for feelings today. Está. So I'm going to do some actions. Profa Barros está contenta. What's that mean?
You are happy.
Profa Barros está triste.
You're sad.
Profa Barros está enojada.
You're angry.
Good job. So it's está. What's es mean?
Is.
And what's está mean?
Is.
They both mean is. Good job. And do you need to worry about which one's which right now?
No.
No, that's my job. All right, se llama means is named. So for me, I have a little name card, like if I went to something new and I wrote my name on a sticker and stuck it right here. Se llama is named. And then the last one, we're going to use this not too much in the first activity, but a little bit later. But va a. This is sign language for goes, va a. And it's pretty easy to remember because I'm here. I'm going to go over there to that place. Va a. Va a. All right, so just a quick assessment. And throughout all this, I'd be asking, show me, do this, that kind of thing. Just tell me. I.
There is.
Good job. Es.
Is.
Le gusta.
Likes.
Está.
Is.
Good job. Let's do está contenta.
Is happy.
Está triste.
Is sad.
Good job. Se llama.
Is named.
Va a.
Goes to.
Good job. So I usually don't spend a whole lot of time just on the straight TPR part because it's not real contextualized. It was probably easier to remember está when I used está contenta because está by itself is just is. It doesn't really mean much. So we don't have those chunks of language. We contextualize it by moving to PQA, the personalized question and answering. So if I'm asking, Botond, ¿cuántas, how many, cuántas personas hay en tu familia? ¿Cuántas personas hay en tu familia? And you can tell me in English or in Spanish.
5.
5. Hay 5 personas. Hay 5 personas en la familia de Botond. Oh, es interesante. Botond, ¿cuántos animales hay en tu familia?
1.
¿Hay un animal?
Sí.
Interesante. ¿Qué tipo de animal hay? ¿Hay un gato? ¿Hay un perro? ¿Hay una vaca? ¿Mu?
Un perro.
Hay un perro. Hay un perro.
Sí.
Botond, ¿es el perro grande o es el perro pequeño?
No es grande y no es pequeño.
Oh,
Es medio.
¿mediano?
Mediano.
Oh, es mediano. En la familia de Botond hay un perro. Hay un perro. Y el perro es mediano. No es grande ni es pequeño, es mediano. Muy bien. Y Botond, ¿a ti te gusta tu perro o no te gusta tu perro?
Me gusta.
Oh, te gusta. ¿Te gusta tu perro mucho, muchísimo o un poquito?
Muchísimo.
¿Te gusta tu perro muchísimo?
Muchísimo.
Mucho. Mucho. Muchísimo.
Sí.
Excelente. ¿Y cómo se llama tu perro? ¿Se llama Spot? ¿Se llama, no sé, se llama Scooby? ¿Cómo se llama tu perro?
Se llama Diesel.
¿Disucss?
Sí.
Oh, interesante. En la familia de Botond hay un perro. El perro se llama Disucss. Disucss es un perro mediano. No es un perro grande, ni es un perro pequeño, es mediano. A Botond le gusta su perro. ¿Es Disucss un perro bueno o malo?
Oh, es un perro muy bueno.
Oh, muy bueno, muy bueno. Disucss es un perro muy bueno. ¿Es un perro muy bueno o es un perro fantástico?
Es un perro fantástico.
Oh, Disucss es un perro fantástico. Muy bien. Y hoy, Disucss está contento. ¿Disucss es chico o chica?
Chico.
Oh, es chico. Disucss está contento o está triste, está enojado. ¿Cómo está Disucss hoy?
Está contento.
Oh, está contento. Contento. Oh, muy bien. ¿Y por qué? ¿Por qué means why? I don't have my question words. ¿Por qué? En inglés. ¿Por qué está Disucss contento? ¿Inglés o español?
Because I am here with him.
Oh, ¿a Disucss le gustas tú?
Sí.
Oh, a Botond le gusta Disucss y a Disucss le gusta Botond, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Oh, fantástico. Es muy, muy fantástico. All right. So we've done TPR and PQA. We're going to do write and discuss. I have my template here that we followed all the way through. We're not going to use ba'a yet because we aren't really doing a story yet. But we're going to put up here, clase, ¿qué hay en la familia de Botond? Hay un gato, hay un perro, ¿hay qué?
Hay un perro.
Oh, muy bien. En la, and if you have a prediction, you can say it, en la
familia
familia
de Botond
de Botond,
hay un perro.
hay un perro. Fantástico, clase. En la familia de Botond hay un perro. ¿Cómo se llama el perro? Se llama
Diesel.
Oh, ¿cómo escribe? How do you write that?
D-I-E-S-E-L.
Oh, Diesel, muy bien. El perro se llama Diesel. ¿Cómo es Diesel? ¿Es grande? ¿Es pequeño? ¿Es mediano?
Es mediano.
Es mediano. Muy bien, clase. Muy bien. Oh, a Botond ¿le gusta Diesel o no le gusta?
Le gusta Diesel.
Le gusta Diesel. Muy bien.
Muchísimo.
Oh, muchísimo, sí. Muchísimo. Ok, le gusta. Y clase, a Diesel, ¿le gusta Botond o no le gusta?
Le gusta.
Sí, le gusta Botond. Ok. ¿Cómo está Diesel hoy?
Está contento.
Muy bien.
Muy
Hoy.
contento.
Hoy Diesel está muy contento.
Muy
o
contento.
Super contento.
Muy contento.
Muy contento. Ok. Muy contento. ¿Por qué? Está, because, está con Botond. Clase.
Sí.
I put some new words in there. What do you think this part says?
Yeah,
Today,
because
Diesel is very happy because
he is with Botond.
Muy bien, clase, fantástico. Aplauso. So at this point, depending on where you want to go with this lesson, how much time you have left, what the students need to work on, you could do a lot of different things. We've written up a text. We could end the class there. This would be appropriate closure to say, look what we learned today. I would probably want the students to turn to a partner and translate this. We could do a choral translate. I would usually do a choral translate and then have them do it with the partner just so they can get their questions answered, maybe if there's one or two things. Individual accountability is a big thing to me, so I don't really like leaving it at this or just a choral translate, because then there's those students who could disappear and I don't really have a chance to check and make sure everybody got it. However, what I could say is, all right, with your elbow partner, the person who's taller goes first, and at that point everybody stands up to see who's taller, even if they've done it a million times before. The person who's taller goes first, translate one sentence, and then switch and translate the next sentence. So you should be going back and forth translating sentences. That way everybody has a chance to listen to each other, and I have a chance to walk around my classroom and see, is there anybody getting stuck? Are they all getting stuck on the same part? Are there any words I need to go over? One of the ideas I have for my kiddo from Comprehensible Cascadia is to have the whole class then copy this down in their notebook. And that's security for me, because then people can say, what are we learning in your class? Or when parents or administrators have that, and they can just pop open their notebook to the most recent date and say, well, we were able to write this last week. Here's what we can write this week. Or here's what we wrote at the beginning of the semester. Here's what we can write about now. And this is evidence of here's what we're learning. The other nice thing is now I can pop this out, especially if I have this typed up. If I'm doing this vocabulary with 3 different classes, this can now become an assessment for another class, because the other class did the same vocabulary, but a different story. So there's lots of different things I can do now with this write and discuss, which is why I really took it to heart to finish everything with it. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, shall I ask them now?
Yeah, go ahead before we move on to the next one.
Okay, so I would have liked to go into the past tense, because it kind of presented itself. If you or I mention, had you mentioned a cat, had you asked me if I had a cat, or yeah, I would have said that we did have a cat.
Ah, okay.
So this, and I would have told that the cat emigrated to a neighbor's house. So it would have been a nice extension of the story.
Yeah, and I just wrote down not just did you, which would have been past tense, but also will you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So would you do that?
It depends on the class. In the past, I've been kind of restricted by a traditional program where my job was to teach present tense, and that was it. And I had to teach it really well so that students could pass traditional grammar tests. So I was really focused, okay, I'm just going to focus on this and do this really, really well. But I'm moving to a situation where I will have the flexibility to do this. So if I had that, I think what I would do is, you're obviously an advanced learner for this lesson. That would have been a good extension to say, okay, let's keep on going. Let's add more, especially if I have somebody who's engaged. If I had a class of 30 students, I think I would just read the classroom, but this would definitely be a good tool to have in my back pocket to say, all right, if this class is with me and we're interested in what's going on, or if we're doing something like La Persona Especial, which is something I plan to do on a nearly daily basis, of just having a brief 5-minute interaction with one student using our current vocabulary. That would be a great opportunity to do this. I think my only concern would be 2 things. First, if we focused on one person too much, other students tend to check out, which isn't the problem with La Persona Especial, so that would be a good place to do that. And then the second one is going out of bounds, that if I start throwing in some different things, have we gone too far? So yeah, all the stuff we're going to do today is in present tense, but that's a new extension I haven't thought about that it would definitely be good to keep in my back pocket of, if we're ready for this, how can I take it to the next level? What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
and it would be very easy to add the conditional as well. If the dialogue that you carry on with your student takes you that way, why not go that way?
Exactly. I think that's the big thing. If the dialogue's going there and the students are interested, why not? We're trying to provide rich input. That's correct.
Yeah, because contrasting these different tenses in context is wonderful. Yeah, I have another question.
That's something I definitely want to work on, so I'm glad you brought that up.
I have another question. Yeah. So I speak and I am learning a couple of languages, and likes is expressed in various ways. So I wonder what exactly the le bit means here. Because like in Hungarian, yeah, in Hungarian we say, literally we say, to me, the dog is pleasing.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what this is. This would be is pleasing to her, is pleasing to him. That's a debate in teaching Spanish of which translation do you put. I find that my students can handle this translation just fine.
Yeah, because it's just...
They'll eventually just kind of, oh, that's why that's changing.
Yeah.
But I
because
have
you
students
say...
who tell me this.
Yeah, because sometimes I say me gusta, te gusta. Yeah, so they will notice that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think one of the aha moments that I had when I first started teaching was wait for the question. When they ask the question, then they're ready. But if they're not even noticing this, if they're just happy, okay, I know what the teacher's saying, then they're not ready to know that there's a reason, there's more letters here. And that's why over here is named.
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's going to be a student who asks up here, well, it says S here and it says say here. And I have to tell them it's two completely different words. Technically, this means calls oneself, but that's a lot to say when we're translating, so I use this. And honestly, if you keep sayama together, it's used just like that. One of the things, though, that I had another aha moment at Comprehensible Cascadia was don't let those questions happen when you're doing the input. Now that we've written this up, part of Write and Discuss, one of the many things you could do is talk about the grammar. Just go through here and I might point out one or two things, but I probably won't point them out unless students ask about them. So if I came, so addressing your question, oh, you want to know that le gusta. See how I put an A right here? This is really hard for English speakers to pick up because it doesn't exist in English. But literally this is saying Disucss is pleasing to him, to Botond. And it's repetitive, but that's just kind of how Spanish works. And so I would use this to explain those little grammar things and ask, hey, does anybody have questions about why I wrote it this way? Are there any things you're kind of wondering what the heck is going on? So that's where we have two different examples to say, here, let me read it word for word. But when we say it, Botond likes Disucss a lot, or a whole lot. So, and that's why I use the phrase thought for thought, not word for word, because this is the same thought, and if you're getting the thought, you're correct. But if you want to know what all the words are, Disucss is pleasing to him, to Botond, a whole lot. But that's hard to translate that way as a class. So that would be my explanation there. And anything else? If somebody wanted to ask at this point, why are we using S versus está? Well, is he generally going to be medium-sized from day to day, or is he going to change his size many times throughout the day? No, he's going to stay the same from day to day. That's S. He's very happy. Can your feelings change a lot throughout one day, or do your feelings generally stay one feeling for many days? Oh, it changes many times throughout the day, so it's kind of a temporary thing. So I use está with a T. He is with Botond. He might not be with Botond in 15 minutes. Who knows? So it's a temporary thing.
I have an idea here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have also learned some Latin. And I guess está comes from the root that means stands.
Huh. I could see that with this STA.
So what if for me it is a very, very plausible explanation to say that the Spanish language actually tells you that these are stands happy today. Diesel stands with me today. It only means is, but this is the way they say it. And stands, I can feel that standing is not something that I do all the time. But when I want to say how I feel or where I am right now, I stand up and say it.
Interesting. That would be really useful because I do have a number of students who had come to me at least last year. I had at least 2 to 3 students who were already fairly fluent in Latin. So yeah, if I've got students who get that one, or even standing up, you don't want to stand forever. You can stand up and announce this, so it's just going to be temporary. And I like that that gives a more concrete thing rather than this vague idea of T is for temporary.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I like.
I do use the within 1 day thing because students want to say like, well, your hair color changes, which mine does quite often. But I don't change my hair color 10 times in a day. My feelings and my location, they can change 10 times in a day, but my hair color might change once. And usually it'll stay the same for at least a couple weeks before it changes again. So that's a S thing. Or the size of your dog. People might say, well, your dog used to be small. Yeah, but it didn't change sizes many times in 1 day. So that's one of the explanations I use. If it doesn't change many times in a day, then you're going to use S. If it can change many times in a day, you're going to use a sta, just like you might stand up or sit down many times in a day. So that gives me a more concrete thing. Thank you.
I wonder,
yeah.
Just a question. And what if you have a girl who really loves to dye her hair and comes to school wearing a different hair color every day? Would you say, she stands blonde today. Yesterday she stood brunette. Could the Spanish do that?
I think, so here's where language is alive and we can play with words. And like when you say someone es contento versus está contento, you can use both of those. But está means I'm feeling right now happy. Es contento means is a happy person. That's their general disposition.
Absolutely.
So I could see in that case where someone might play with the language to express different ideas, and just the use of está would imply that this is something that changes a lot. But that would be an intentional, I'm going to play with this because usually when we're talking about hair, we use S. But in this particular case, we might make, not that it's a right or wrong, just a speaker's choice of, here's how I'm going to express this thing about this person's hair because of the context.
Yeah, so it would work, and it might elicit a smile.
Yes, exactly. I think they would see that you're making a joke about it, that it's not necessarily correct grammatically, but it's correct given the situation and the idea you're trying to express.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All the time. You never know. You could go to first period and it's this color, and second period it's that color.
Me gusta.
I love playing with language. All right, as far as TPR, PQA, and then doing this write and discuss, do you have any other questions?
I don't think so. Let's go on.
All right. My eraser has been traveling around my office with me today. So we have these words, but we aren't, part of the reason I separated it this way was because I had a feeling we definitely needed these words, especially if students are predicting what you're going to write. And then anything up here was an additional support for, all right, we're writing, you need to be able to look up there because you might remember what we're saying, but you might be afraid to say it because you're not 100% sure. So by leaving that up there, it was a resource. Did you find that you used that at all, or are you pretty comfortable with the language that you didn't need to look up here?
I'm comfortable with the language, but it's a very nice, clear structure. I like it.
Okay. And typically in a classroom setting, I would have butcher paper or something like that, but being in my home office, I wanted to make sure I left enough room for us to practically do a write and discuss after we were done. But typically speaking, I might go, say, to the back of the classroom or have the words here and then put up some butcher paper over here so they can look, but I can be writing and that kind of thing as well.